What is up, guys? Johnny Chase here. Welcome back to the club, and it's that time again to talk fan games. You guys really like the last videos that I did on this subject, and I'm going to give you 5 more fan games, and I'm going to take some of the suggestions that you guys put in the comments below in the last 2 videos, especially a certain title, which we're going to talk about first. This is one that you guys were like, I can't believe you left this out. Also, let me bring up the fact that if you feel that I left out a particular game, I probably put it in the other video, or I'm planning to do a future video on it. So don't fret, but keep the suggestions coming, because the more knowledge I get about fan games, the more I can record and play and inform you guys of as well. And of course, if you like this content, give it a like. And you guys have been doing that in droves so far, and keep it coming, because the more you guys like these videos and watch them, the more that I know that I need to keep making more of them. So let's start off with the fan game that a lot of people in the comments of the last 2 videos were like, how come you didn't mention this? It's like, well, one, didn't know about it, and number 2, never got around to playing it. And now I have. It is Streets of Rage Remake. So my understanding with this game is that it was made at a time when they didn't know if Sega was going to make a Streets of Rage 4. Obviously, we now know, Streets of Rage 4 did eventually come out and was a huge success. But this one was made from the ground up. In HD, better visuals. The control is way better than what I remember playing the original Streets of Rage and Streets of Rage 2. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a huge Streets of Rage fan. I've played them casually. Growing up, I was never a Sega fan. I was always a Nintendo fan. We had the Super Nintendo growing up, the NES, all that stuff. I actually did bug my parents to buy a Genesis at one point, but, one console household. You already got the Super Nintendo. What do you need the Genesis for? Well, I mean, I have Mario, but I don't have Sonic. I had Double Dragon. I don't have Streets of Rage. So never won that argument. But this game is really well done. It's really well polished. And there's like a lot of extra stuff on there. Apparently there's like a Streets of Rage remake maker in here. Like you can make your own levels. It was locked behind me not completing the campaign, so I couldn't actually get in there to enjoy, because man, this game hard. Like I remember, beat 'em ups back in the day, and even somewhat today, they're pretty tough. You get further into it, and you've got swarms of enemies coming after you, but man, they remixed the music. It's a higher quality. Like they still got the old Streets of Rage soundtrack, sound effects in there. And everything looks great. I really want to play this with another player, so we're gonna get on some Parsec, or maybe get a friend over and do some 2-player co-op on this sometime. But yeah, I can understand why a whole lot of people in my comments were saying you need to get Streets of Rage Remake HD in here at some point. And I'm glad I did, because this game is a ton of fun. And I remember distinctly though that I thought this was a project that was being worked on and that got shut down because they did the whole talking about it while it was still in development, and then Sega shut it down. I think maybe something came around, or maybe it was a different Streets of Rage project. I don't know. See, again, folks, that is your clear message. If you're doing a fan project like this or a fan game, shut the fuck up. Listen to your Uncle Wooly. Shut the fuck up. Just make it, release it. It's out in the world. If they C&D it, well, it's already out there. Nothing I can do. But yeah, highly recommend Streets of Rage Remake. So this one has actually been a fan game stapled for a very long time, and I can't believe it took me this long to actually download, install, and play it. And that is Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch. So this is built off of the Doom engine, and basically it is just, first-person deathmatch game in the world of Mega Man, specifically the 8-bit Mega Man games. So there's actually a story to this, not just peer-to-peer multiplayer. In the single player, this apparently takes place after, I want to say Mega Man 6 was the one with Mr. X and the Tournament of Robots. After the events of Mega Man 6, the real Dr. X showed up, because hey, guess what? The Dr. X, or the Mr. X you were fighting, that was Dr. Wily again. So this one apparently takes place between Mega Man 6 and 7, where Mr. X holds a proper tournament. So Dr. Light with Mega Man, Roll, and all them, they send their robots out. Dr. Wily decides to send his new 8 robot masters in there, and Mr. X, kind of has his crew. So what's cool is the amount of time I got to play the single player is that you go through deathmatch maps based around the robot masters from the last Mega Man game. So like I'm playing, you know, Iceman stage, Fireman stage, going through that, and then from my understanding is I didn't get a whole lot of time into it, but then there's, you know, Mega Man 2 stages, Mega Man 3 stages. So it's like there's not a whole lot more to the story. You have like a free roaming world, you know, it's basically Dr. Light's house. You walk through and there's training areas, there's areas for trophies for stuff that you've done later on in the story mode in the game. There's options to change your skin, so you can make yourself look like a Mega Man. You can look like a generic robot. You can pick any of the robot masters. And what's cool is that everyone starts off with a Mega Buster. That's just your standard weapon. So everyone's got that blue and cyan color scheme. But as you go around, you pick up a robot master weapons like the Gemini laser, Cutman's blades. You will change color to that robot master just like you were with Mega Man. So I think that's pretty neat. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of time to play multiplayer, but it is working. You just need to download another client. But the beauty of this is that everything is all automated. So you just a few clicks of the button and you've got the server list there. And to my surprise, people were playing this still here in 2024. So I was able to get into a match with a few people. So it was a 4v4. You know, last team standing obviously wins, and it just kept going on, and we gave you the ability to vote on the next match. It's a pretty robust system, and I am really impressed with this. Again, this is a game that I've known about for a good like 8 or 9 years, but for whatever reason just never got around to playing it. And it's something that I actually want to, you know, see if I can, you know, wrangle some people together and see if we can have a night of just, you know, messing around with this game. But it's really well done. It's got like, you know, all the music tracks obviously from past Mega Man games in the maps that you're in there. What's really cool is that when you start getting closer to the frag limit, it starts playing the boss music from that particular Mega Man game until you win. Then you get your victory theme, which I think was a nice little touch there. But yeah, Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch, go pick it up. So one of my favorite franchises back in the NES and SNES day was Contra, Super C, Contra 3 Alien Wars, all those run and gun games that were super hard and a lot of fun, and kind of wish they had made more of them. Now I know Konami made this new Operation Gorilla, or I can't remember the last name of it. There was just something off on it, and it didn't really hit the same way that previous Contra games did. So that's when I decided, hey, let me look to the fan community, see if anyone's created one. And then I found Contra Spirit of War Redux. So this one here, gentleman who created this basically is an homage to Contra on NES. So you've got, you know, your weapon types, but you've also got, like, he's created new ones. There's one that's the letter T, and it looks like it's just a tri-weapon that just shoots 3 bullets straight, but it's got a wider range. They have one that, you know, shoots back and forth. You know, but you got your classics in here. You've got the fire gun, you got the spread, you've got the laser, you've got the rapid fire, you've got the machine gun. Now with this though, I will say though that my only complaint with the game, if I have one, which obviously I do, the only complaint I have with this game though is that Bill and Lance's movement doesn't quite seem one-to-one with the NES. So like, it just feels like movement is a little bit slower than it was in comparison to the NES. Jump mechanics feel a little off, but it was something I was able to get used to in the later levels. A lot of love and care has gone into this game. Like, there's a few, like, you can tell that he's taken music from other Konami games. There's actually just a straight up vertical shooting level, because at one point Bill and Lance get jetpacks, and basically just, it's basically Life Force or Salamander if you're in the if you're in Japan. It's basically that level, but you're, you know, controlling Bill and Lance. So I love the attention to detail to that. But man, this game is, it also plays with a lot of options too. So like, you can actually have like the hit system in games that like you've seen in Contra Hardcore or Hardcore Uprising. Like, you can actually have a health bar as opposed to just, you know, one hit kills. But if you want to set the one hit kills and just make it pure Contra, you can do that as well. You can set up your life system. There's a password system, so you can always go back. The only other complaint I have as well is that there is no native controller support, so everything is through the keyboard. So if you guys remember the first video I did, and we were talking about a Bobo's Big Adventure and how that one does not have native controller support because it was built on Flash, you need a program called Joy2Key. Now, Joy2Key is not really working well on my computer, and I think I said as much in the video, but someone actually recommended another great program. It's called WASD. I don't know if I'm saying WASD properly for that acronym, but yeah, basically this is a program that will let you remap your controller to keystroke. So using that program, I was able to save a profile and actually have everything mixed in to this Contra fan game. So got everything mapped to run and jump. We had one for skills, which I didn't get too far to be able to use a skill, but I was able to use the bombs. Now there's not a whole lot of animation on there, so sometimes I wasn't even sure that the bombs were working. But yeah, this is a fun homage to Contra on the NES. Pretty tough, even with the hit points there, because the enemies are fast and furious in this compared to their NES counterparts. But I'm looking forward to going back into this, jumping through and hopefully finishing the game. So if you guys were impressed with the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch new Contra game that just came out, you might want to give this a shot. Again, it's Spirit of War Redux. So in the last video, I told you guys about Castlevania Revamped, which was someone taking Castlevania 1 and turning it into a Metroidvania. Well, what about the one that was kind of Metroidvania beforehand, but we all didn't like because it was too cryptic and confusing? What about Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest? So Club, let me introduce you to Castlevania 2 Chronicle. So this is one that actually popped up on my radar a few years back when I saw Shadows and Matt McMuscles for playing the beta version of the game. It was still in early development, but yeah, this is a complete reimagining of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest to make things actually a lot easier. Now, we have ROM hacks of the original to kind of help people. There was the redacted version, which actually cleaned up some of the translations, made the day to night cycle less of a headache, and generally made the game easy. And now there's also ROM hacks that build on top of that actually have a map system. Well, this game, built from the ground up, has all of that. So the townsfolk actually give you helpful information and are not so bloody cryptic as to what to do. But then again, they're just not right telling you, oh yeah, go here to do this. Like, I exchanged the white crystal for the blue crystal completely by accident. But they do encourage you to talk to all townsfolk because they all have useful information to tell you and also things to sell you. Now, one of the cool things about this, in the original game, you had to use hearts as your currency. Before in past Castlevania games, using the hearts used your sub weapons. They've gone back to that in this game, so hearts still use your sub weapons, but enemies now drop actual money. So money is what you would go back to upgrade your whips, upgrade your sub weapons, buying laurels, garlic, and as well as the other crystals. What's also neat though is that the art style is very reminiscent of Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. And actually some of the sound effects are ripped right from Symphony of the Night. So some of the enemies you destroy, give off those classic yells and groans from Symphony of the Night. And also this one you would think would be, more linear, going in tune with what's going on with how Simon Quest was in the original. But there's actually a block. I tried going left for the first time, and there was like this Cerberus that was stopped, and it said you can only go through once you get Dracula's heart. I was like, okay, now I gotta go right and go into the other mansions and get the Dracula's pieces. Also, big ups to the developers for leaving in possess when you get a piece of Dracula, the little spelling error that we all know and love from the original Castlevania 2. One of the things I also noticed too when I was going through the mansions is that they've done away with having the priest inside that you had to exchange hearts for to get a stake. Because back then you had to like throw a stake at a crystal ball in order to get the piece of Dracula or to finish the mansion. In this one here, they've actually done away with that and actually have done something great, giving you bosses, actual bosses to fight. I remember in the original there was like two bosses. There was Death, and then there was the mask, and those were optional. You didn't have to fight them, and I don't think there was anything to gain from fighting them. So you would just go in, get the piece of Dracula, walk out. Now, from what I can see though, there's no day and night cycle on this, thank God, because that was a little annoying, especially in the original when you had to wait that little period for the sun to go down and the moon to come up, and then vice versa. I don't know if there's a time limit ending like there was in the original, or if there's a third ending for game overing too much. I did game over at least 2 times on this, but thankfully there's a lot of save points in this. Will refill your health and also reload your progress. Now, Castlevania 2 Chronicles is a great fan game. I have one gripe with it though. The volume slider does not work. The volume is up to 100. It does bleed into the red. So if you plan on playing this game, you'll have to manually adjust the volume in your sound settings on your PC before kicking this up, because if you're wearing headphones, it will make your ears bleed. But yeah, if you're a fan of the Castlevania series and didn't quite like Simon's Quest on the NES, this is a great update to that game, Castlevania 2 Chronicles. And finally, I'm going to talk about probably the newest and latest release of a fan game that's out there now. This is Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars. Funny story, when I was doing my recordings of these games, I tweeted out that I said, hey, I'm getting some fan games ready for a third video. And to, add onto your tweets, try and engage and get engagement up there. I just typed in fan games, and then I had this blurry GIF of a fan made Mario game. And I'm like, I need to find that one. And it's actually one that was on my radar that they just had the release not too long ago. So to my understanding with Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars, this is not a 100% complete game. It's still a proof of concept. It's still in the demo phase. So there's only a few levels created. But basically with this one, they're brand new sprites, brand new animations. This is what the developer describes as it's an homage, and it's kind of like a connection of the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga series with like how animated and vocal Mario and Luigi are in those games, as well as combining it with like the health system and the platforming of Super Mario Galaxy and Odyssey. But the thing is that it is a 2D side scroller, which, man, like this is actually pretty nifty with the way the movement is. So you have all the 3D controls on there. So you've got triple jump, you've got back flips, you've got spin jumps. And they have this one where I believe it's kind of like Odyssey. It's been a long time since I played Odyssey, so forgive me if I get this wrong. But you do have the diving attack. So if you run over, you can ground pound and then immediately hit the button again to do like a safe dive. And this is a pretty tricky mechanic. And thankfully for the couple of levels I did play, it didn't come up too much in my playthrough. So I was able just to do standard double jumps and things like that to get through. But man, like the levels that I did play, they're so good. They feel like traditional Mario levels with a little mixture of that 3D platforming in for extra flair. And my God, this game is beautiful. As of recording, I don't know if Nintendo has C&D'd this game yet off of the itch.io store. Again, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but all links to these games will be in the description below if you want to go and try them out for yourself. But man, like once you get to that first level and you get the little starry character, you can also get the mechanics of Yoshi's Island, because you're on Yoshi's Island, but you have the abilities of Yoshi from Mario World 2. And it's crazy. So like you just hit one of the shoulder buttons and it throws them to the front. You hit it again and you can throw them in 3 different directions, straight up and down. And they're used for, puzzle solving and platforming. And it's crazy. And I can't wait to go back and play more of this. I'm just sad that like eventually this is going to get taken down by Nintendo, because Nintendo tends to go, Nintendo is probably one of the biggest offenders for like taking down fan projects. So go get this while you can. Again, as of writing and recording, I have not gotten any information from the developer or from itch.io that this game is gone. And from what I can see here, like even with the 3D elements, it'll take a little bit of horsepower to work this game, but like it is really, really good. And I can't wait to see if there is going to be a finished project, but I will keep an eye on them as well to see if the inevitable, hammer comes down from Nintendo and they have to, remove all the Mario assets for this and just make a 100% original platformer out of this. But I'm going to keep my eyes on this. So again, it's Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars. Go check that one out. And that is 5 more fan games that you guys should check out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you guys have any suggestions on fan games that I've missed, leave them down in the comments below. If it's a game I've already covered, go back and check the other episodes. I'm going to keep doing these until I run out. And of course, if you like what we do here at the club, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as I do way more of the videos than just fan games. I also do ROM hacks and a lot of other fun stuff like gameplay videos and the such. So until the next one, I'm Johnny Chase, and I don't have a proper closing. I'll just see you in the next one.